Hard Hat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
Yeah, let it roll. I miss this song.
Look what we're doing.
Was that a Hard Hat win, Jimmy?
Based on the way this season's about to go, Bobby, it might be. It honestly
Jimmy,
might be.
Jimmy, walk us through the whole game, would you? Okay.
Jaylen Brown.
He did stuff. Derek White did stuff. Ugo.
I go. We go. You go.
Yeah, look, some fun stuff. We'll get into all of it. We got Noah. Noah was one of like 27 people to see this game live down in Memphis. So she may jump on.
She made history.
There's preseason crowds.
Oh my God, that was something. Before we get into the game, welcome all of you into the first of many Garden Reports this season. Preseason action. People asking, are we doing a Garden Report? Fuck yeah, we're doing a Garden Report. That's what we do.
You don't have to ask.
Come on.
Listen, it doesn't matter who plays.
Yeah.
We don't take days off.
We don't take days off. Neither does Prize Picks. Get in on the action here. One of our sponsors here at the Garden Report. Download Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Make some money off your sports opinions, guys. Download Prize Picks. Use code CLNS. Get 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And hey, Raycon, why not? You need some earbuds? Yes, the Everyday Earbuds Classic right now. Terrific offer right now. Go to buyraycon.com/PCS. Get 20% off.
Toss them in for the show.
Earbuds Classic. Check them out. Toss them in. Listen to Bobby tell us the plan's coming together. They're playing with pace. Everything's gonna be okay. This is the new Boston Celtics, guys. They're gonna be just fine. And look, a little bit, somewhat as.
Come on, John. You had to be pleasantly surprised by what you saw.
Look. Here's the
Against
way I.
Curly, Larry, and Mo on the other side.
Here's how.
Three of your guys were missing.
Time out. Here's how I do this. Okay, if a group of people, if the Celtics went out and shot 8% tonight and lost to this group of Jags, and everyone looked awful, everyone would say it's just a preseason game. So if you're gonna do that, you can't also overreact to positive things, but we can talk about the positive things, okay? But we're not doing apology cams today, Bobby. We are going to talk about.
I didn't say that on the air.
I know.
Yeah, but you might have.
You might have. You would have eventually gotten there. But look, what are we looking for, right? The series of things, and we got little flashes of everything, right? The pace, we'll talk about that. Got to see Scheierman in year 2. Got to see Ugo as a rookie and see what he's going to do. Got to see the new guys, Bouchard and Minot, who I thought, again, brought a lot of energy. Garza. There's stuff to talk about with each one of them because a lot of people, I mean, I'm not saying the Garden Report fans are casuals. Most people have seen these guys play, but how familiar are you with their games? Like, how much have you seen of these guys? Not a lot. So this is going to be a crash course for a lot of people who are kind of getting to see, like, what's this guy all about? I remember a little bit. I've got flashes. I've seen some games, but what are these people about? And you're breaking in a lot of new people here. And you're getting a sense of, what it's going to be like. You saw Jaylen Brown post knee surgery coming out smoking. Derek White had a terrific game. So definitely a lot to like here. Some areas of concern. We'll get through all of that. But Bobby, what stood out to you the most in this game?
Just how on the same page everybody was. When you have 8 new players coming in and probably like 3 or 4 who are actually in the rotation now. I think Garza, Minot, Ugo Gonzalez as well, the rookie coming in, who had a pretty sloppy summer league, if you remember, and didn't quite look ready. For him to get in the NBA action now, and after talking so much about how the game's fast and he's got to adjust and it's completely different than Europe, and get 2 blocks in a minute and look pretty capable on defense and be in the right spots on offense. That was nice. Garza set all the right screens. It wasn't always effective, but was in the right positions for the most part. And Josh Minot played that energy role, defender, offensive rebounds, just all over the place in terms of making things happen. So, those three guys were awesome right off the bat in the first time you're seeing them. And as you mentioned, John, these are guys who haven't played much NBA minutes, period. So, beyond not knowing what those guys are in Boston, you don't know who those three guys are as NBA players in particular. And then for Chris Boucher, who's obviously just getting here too and has a lot more experience. Slow start. He starts next to Tillman. Sloppy early, getting in Brown's way a little bit and just didn't do a ton. But in the second half, I thought he did a lot more. Even the second quarter, when they put that small ball lineup out there, is when the defensive intensity really started to ratchet up there. So, listen, the Grizzlies they played against weren't good. 4 key guys out on that side. Not much that impressed you on their end. So you understand what you were going against in this one. But you destroyed this team playing your style and did it pretty deep into your bench with 3 of your own guys sitting. So my biggest takeaway was Joe and the coaching staff have these guys pretty well integrated already. And it makes me even more excited to see Simons on Friday because, he could be pretty far along in his acclimation process as well.
Yeah, before we get Jimmy's opening thoughts on this game, we're going to pipe this in with Cool Che dropping a $20
nice
super chat on us right out of the gate. Missed the CLNS fam. We missed you guys too. Ugo looked really intriguing. Minot, Boucher both look solid. Garza, mixed bag on Garza. Sucked.
Yeah.
Still don't see this team breaking 45 wins. 10? Feel like we're stuck in NBA. You'll see again, Jimmy.
There's some canter there.
The rebounding and the interior presence. He can't get 3 inches off the ground. There is no hope of them grabbing rebounds with him in the game. And there is no interior presence. It's going to be all hands on deck to be able to do that. Cool Che, thank you very much for that. Cool, we do appreciate it. We can let you guys know that should you choose to give us any super chats, it's distributed to the hosts, and we absolutely do appreciate them. So yeah, by all means, fire away. We'll put your comments on the screen and talk about it. But if not, just listen along, chat with each other, and that's cool too. However you guys want to play it. But thank you very much. It is appreciated. Jimmy, any thoughts?
So for preseason, I'm focusing on. I really wanted to see Ugo. I really want to see Scheierman. Those are the 2 guys that I think are like 1 and 2 on my list. At least certainly tonight, since
really Ugo's that high up
on guys that I want to see what they're capable of. Because these are players, Bobby, that you can actually hope maybe will be a part of the long-term plan of this Celtics team. Guys that maybe 2 years from now are in the rotation in some capacity. So it's like Boucher, okay, whatever. Like, sure, he looks like an NBA player. He can play. We know he can play. We've seen him again on the Raptors and such. But guys like that. Garza, like, okay, Garza, he is who he is. I'm not going to lose sleep over what Garza did in the preseason because I don't really care. Depending on what your take is on this season is going to determine on which players you really focus your energy on. For me, it's the guys that I think will be a part of this team beyond this season. And for me, that's Scheierman and that's Ugo. And so I wasn't expecting lights out basketball from those guys tonight, but I really did like what I saw from Ugo. Are we calling him Ugo? Are we calling him Gonzo? Are we calling him Gonzalez?
Ugo.
Ugo.
I don't think Gonzo is going to work.
Whatever you guys want to call him, he's somebody that I'm looking at in the preseason because I know that when the regular season comes along, we're not going to get the same amount of minutes, at least not up front. We'll see how things shake out. Scheierman going into his second year, going to take on a bigger role, a player that, came into the league with a shot, and you want to see if that shot's going to translate to that NBA level. It's good to see him with a bigger role and feeling a little bit more comfortable taking the shot. I think tonight, certainly, you want to see him hit a few more of those. And I thought a little bit sloppy there in the fourth quarter with, some of the other guys coming in that he probably doesn't have much playing time with. But those are the 2 guys that I'm going to be focusing on in the preseason outside of the regular. So obviously Friday when Pritchard, assuming he comes back and plays, I want to see what he does. I'm really interested to see how Keita looks going into a season where he's supposed to have a much bigger role. And there were certainly times in the last couple of seasons, Bobby, where you were banging on the table. I was banging on the table that we wanted to see more Keita. And then there were times where we said, get Keita off the floor. So which one is it going to be? I'm not entirely sure, but Those are probably
Garza's
the-
going to
There's
be
no
that
getting him
guy.
off the floor
Yeah.
this year. There's no one else, so he's
Garza's
gonna have to
be
play.
that guy for sure.
It's
I
gonna
will
be good.
say one of the underrated storylines tonight, and I was so excited, not excited, but I was so intrigued by this going into camp, John. Was Tillman even alive? Like, was he even gonna appear at games this year?
Can't believe we're starting here, but yeah, sure.
I mean, alley-oop dunk starts this game, even though Joe says not to read too much into that. Looked pretty spry on both ends, had some real moments on both ends as well. I mean, again, relatively young, defensive stopper earlier in his career. You need some defense on this team.
It's a great
The fact that
question here.
he's able to actually play 23 minutes in an NBA game right now, because what he said in training camp, I don't know if you saw it, Jimmy, didn't surprise me at all that his knee blew up in January and he was pretty much done from that point on last year. So
Yeah.
he was not healthy, and says he is, lost 12 pounds and looked like it tonight.
Yeah, I
was good.
tweeted it.
Yep.
Like I said, that's the best he's moved since he's been a Celtic. It wasn't even close.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember, John, like the beginning of last season when he stepped on the court and he was like, "Whoa, he looks like Tillman ate Tillman." Or something.
Yeah, he looked big.
Like,
He
are
looked
you
big,
in
but
there?
he also looked like he was like 52 years, but he's the oldest looking
Yeah.
26-year-old on the planet to
Hey,
begin with.
get a little skin
but-
routine, drop a few
Yeah.
pounds, watch your life change.
But he was moving. It was even before the dunk. I tweeted that was the highlight. But like he was just moving a lot better. He just looked a lot more spry and springy. So that was definitely good. I'm still not counting on a ton from Tillman. There. But
The
again,
athleticism is there somewhere.
every bit helps here because it's going to be it's going to take a village in order to do this. And again, I think that's part of the vision when we talk about this idea about the pace and how they're going to do it. And I'm dubious, to be honest, because you can run up and down and you can jack shots early, and that's what they were doing, and it's all good. But you got to have the horses. And again, it's really hard to get. It's a preseason game. You're not going to read a lot into it. You're missing a couple of your best shooters, but they shot 15 for 53 from three. That's kind of my fear is, hey, we shot it early and we moved fast. We missed them all, but we played fast.
That's going to happen.
Whoa.
And look,
Listen,
and
we
gonna be,
we know this team's going to lose games.
but it's necessary because you can't win. You can't win other ways. Like you can't just play the way you've played and win on talent alone. You're going to have to be fast. You're going to have to be sparky. And like everything about this tonight was that. And it wasn't just the pace and them getting up the floor and getting shots up quickly, because they did certainly in the first half and in the Jalen minutes and when Derek White was out there. But just seeing how scrappy they were. Minot's all over the floor. He and Ugo together are absolutely frenetic. Holy crap. Like they're the guys who, when you're playing pickup and you're like, dude, can you just chill? Like we're just trying to play here. Just
a fight
up
broke
in your
up almost immediately after Ugo got in.
Fight. Boucher first off got in somebody's face and pushed them off, and then Jaylen Brown gets into a little bit of an altercation. But Ugo was a pain in the ass, and so was Minot. They're up in your shit all game long. That's fun to watch. You want to see that. You want to see the attitude. You like to see that because, again, a super talented team like the Celtics were last year, you're going to have superstar performances and I'm not, maybe I'll play defense, maybe not. These guys are fighting for their lives here, or they're trying to establish themselves in the league, what have you. They're going to get after it, and that's definitely a positive. So you saw a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, forced 22 turnovers too. And that didn't really start. They only forced 2 in the first quarter until they got that Boucher, Minot, Ugo group out there in the second. And that's when they started turning up the heat on the Grizzlies and were able to make some stuff happen there. That was the thing that I was most dubious. I knew they were going to play fast. I knew they were going to switch some things up offensively, but could they actually get out of their element defensively, play a little more undisciplined, take some risks on that end, and force teams into mistakes? They're going to have to, because of the deficiencies you talk about, John. Like, they can't rely on their rim protection as much. They can't rely on winning the rebounding battle every night, things that you've just taken for granted in the past. Elite defenders at every position, being able to switch across the board. This is stuff they're not going to be able to do now. So you're going to have to force turnovers. You're going to
Nice.
have to
Yep, Cass.
gamble a little bit on that end. And it's calculated risk. That's what they've talked about in camp. And, Minot had a good live ball one in the second quarter. Hauser got in a passing lane. Ugo had the 2 blocks, jump balls forced inside. So they were more aggressive in this one, willing to foul a little bit more too. Like that was a conversation at camp too. We talked about Noah and I after one of the practices is how they feel like the refs are going to let a little more contact go after the playoffs this year, or at least when you get to the postseason. So that's something that they want to embrace as well.
It's the old Ime approach.
That never fouled.
That was Ime's approach was foul them until they call it. Just keep fouling. Play super physical. Set the precedent on how it's going to be. Make them call it, but don't don't do what the Joe philosophy was a little bit different. That's fine. Before we continue on, I want to let everybody out here know this is not the only post-game show in the CLNS family right now. We got these guys going on right now. Evan Marinovsky.
That's live?
And that's live, my friends.
This is Inception.
The Bruins win? Oh, they did.
Dude, the Bruins win.
Let's listen in.
9-10, 9-12, something like that. Not Vezina, but back to a slightly better than average.
Can they hear us?
Goalie. I think that's pretty fair. In the defense, if Charlie McAvoy and Hampus
do the mirror
healthy,
thing,
get back to being a middle of the road defensive team.
This is like Matthew McConaughey watching his future self.
I think that's also fair.
No.
And can the power play go from 29th overall?
I just want to put it out.
Martian. They're gonna trade Martian.
I just want to put it out there. CLNS has you covered all the post-game stuff. This is technically an episode of Poke the Bear, hosted by Connor Ryan and our buddy Evan Marinovsky. If those of you guys want to dip in over there and listen to a little Bruins talk, that's going on as we are doing our thing now. But I just wanted to put it out there. Those guys are doing their own thing.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
So what was your biggest takeaway from the night, John?
What's that all about, Acid Bat?
What was mine?
Yeah,
mine was the energy, guys. Like I said, I was impressed. Like Minot might have the ugliest shot I've seen in history. But boy, is he all over the place. And defensively, he covers a ton of ground. He's in the action. He's almost in every frame. And then Ugo, relentless. I mean, the chase down blocks, the tying up that loose ball that caused that first little altercation in the first half there, getting out on the break and transition. I don't think he has anything to his game outside of a Euro step. So he's got to figure out, something more to be able to generate offense.
It's not going to be a point guard year one, that's for sure.
Certainly not. But if that 3, and again, he knocked down a 3, if that 3 falls at an okay clip and he can give you energy, he may play as well. He may play himself into minutes. Also, and again, it's early and it's just one game and it's a preseason. It's not like he suffered like a, season-ending injury. But Walsh, uninspired in his whatever. He was all right. But he goes out with a little injury too. That opens the door a crack for Ugo to establish himself a little bit more and get some minutes in there. So I like that. I liked that aspect of it. I do like seeing them play with a little bit of pace, for sure. I mean, nothing drove me more nuts than the walk up. It's just simply a question of the talent. How much is there? There's a lot of holes in this lineup here. And I like that they want to embrace this style of play, but I am a little dubious. You really got to see it with their full roster against another team's full roster and be like, all right, can they do this and have some success doing it? But I definitely like the energy guys. And I like rooting for like scrappy underdog types. It's fun because they got nothing to lose. So like those guys are easy to get behind. You want to see them do well.
And speaking of the talent, I mean, the 2 guys you're looking at, White and Brown, who are going to have to lead them through this, and then Pritchard eventually when they get him out there, they were as advertised. Like Brown comes in, starts 4 for 4, pretty casual, 21 points in his first half minutes. White,
what'd you think of how he looked? I missed a good chunk of Brown's performance.
I mean, he just got what he wanted. He got
it was
to his spot,
easy.
he scored. It was easy. So
cool.
That's
so
what
the knee looks good.
Yeah, he definitely.
He didn't even look like he broke a sweat. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Like it was easy. He was coasting, and he was just
one
hitting
thing.
it. Yeah,
but White, and I don't want to do the scowl. The scowl in the broadcast was like no one's talking about White, but I kind of got what he was saying in that this is a guy who you look at and you're like, all right, he's going to be Derek White. Like, he's just going to do his thing. You know what you get from him, and that's, just put it to the side. He might actually be able to expand his game a little more than we give credit to, if taking more shots, more time on the ball. I mean, he got to 9 assists like it was nothing
early
in the first half. And another guy who's just able to step. I know he goes 2 for 9 from 3, but got to all the spots he wanted, was in full control.
That's the thing. And everyone's gonna read this incorrectly. So try not to. But the reliance on Tatum to be your everything means you live and you die by it, which means he has the ball in his hands, which means you play at his pace. He's your best player, and it's not even, not particularly close. And he's obviously the most important player on the team, but it does not, I'm not going to say limit, but it doesn't let everybody else be every bit of the person that they could be, because the opportunities aren't there as much as we simply talk about.
You're going at the beat of his drum.
But not just that, but you've got Holiday and White out there who are both point guards who don't have the ball in their hands late in games. So you've got 2 all-star caliber point guards, neither of whom is handling the ball, because Tatum is handling the ball, and they're spotting up in corners or waiting for kickouts or whatever it is that's going on there. So you're not able to kind of access everything that you can do. So White, absolutely, you're going to see a lot more him just taking the ball, driving, hitting those floaters. He had a nice, leaner early on off the glass, like seeing him go into attack mode a little more, which you see at times, especially when they're like down a star. And we've seen, Derek White take over mode in games, but they're going to need it this time. So he's going to have free reign. You had to think about it, right? If you're Holiday or you're White or you're Porzingis, you're one of those guys, and you're on one, or you're feeling it, or you feel like you could get what you want to get in a game, but you're looking around and be like, I got to probably give Tatum and Brown some touches, right? Like, I can't just be shooting all the time. So you can't do it. Here you can, because it's like, Jesus, please, Derek, shoot. Like, get those field goal attempts up. We need 18, 19, 20 of these from you a game. So it's going to free him up to be, kind of a more complete version of who he can be. We'll see with the added defensive attention if he's able to hold off. I think he is. Like, I think he can. I think he's going to elevate. I think you're going to see all the numbers go up across the board.
Yeah, and they will naturally to some degree. I just don't want it to become the Jalen show the world I'm the man season, because I think that's going to be the worst version of this team. I think he's in a good place, just hearing from him at camp so far, of knowing this isn't all about him, deferring to some of the other guys. Yeah, Jimmy.
You want this, Jimmy? Is this what you want?
Oh, shoot. What? No. Get this out of here.
You get out of here. Oh, God. We got to put him back. Ahmed, fix it.
Don't do this.
Jimmy, what you got to say? It's your show.
What did I do? I literally did nothing.
I don't know why you're up there either.
What were you saying, Bobby? Okay.
I was saying that I'm glad so far from the signs we've seen. Jalen's.
Al?
I don't know what happened there. I'm glad what we've seen so far is that Jalen's not taking this season as let me take over and show everybody what I'm made of. Because it
hasn't even started yet.
But that's what he's talked about at camp so far, is that it's not going to be about him proving he's a 1A. He might even look at himself as the top defender.
Can I say this once? We have to stop just taking what they say and then just putting it out there as fact.
Plastering it everywhere. Yeah.
That's what they say.
So you don't believe him?
Has any star in history ever said, I'm going to make this all about me?
He did. I could, I sacrificed.
When has a star said, this year's about me, bitches? Get out of my way. I'm out to prove a point.
But James Harden every year.
He's talked a lot. He's talked a lot in the past about how he has to sacrifice here to win, to play with Tatum, to be part of what they're doing. He could lead a team elsewhere, but it's great to win in Boston. He's done it on numerous occasions, and there's been none of that this camp. I'm going to defend. I'm going to, get other guys involved. get these young guys in the mix. Like that's been his message so far.
Yeah,
He would
okay.
not hesitate, John, to say, I've been overlooked, and this is the year where you're going to see what I'm made of. I don't think he would have any hesitation about saying that if that was his mindset.
Anyway, whatever. I just want to. I'm really curious to see how it goes when they all get out there and they're playing actual teams. So, again, let's see it. But again, good start from Jalen. Good start from the team. Good job with them kind of, doing the pace thing that they said.
And it's, not just Jalen, by the way.
Good for them being physical. Joe, Joe has to love that stuff. He and Boucher were talking about their little altercation when he bumped into him a couple years back. You see Boucher get in the mix there too. Joe's loving a lot of this. Noah tweeted something. The guy's coming off the court and then being fired up. So like the energy is great. And, I don't know about Brown saying he's going to let guys do whatever. All he did was shoot when he was out there. And he did well, but I mean, it's just, he's going to be relied upon to score a crap ton of points. And that's fine. He had zero assists. Bobby, he had 0 assists. Okay. It's like, you're making me say it, Mister. I'm going to let everybody else eat. Just shot today. That's fine. But like, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. And it's not just him. Like this could be a year where White is like, I have to do a lot more.
I don't want to say it.
Right. I mean, it's not just him either. I mean, White has said it's not going to be about him doing too much. Pritchard says he'd still come off the bench, even if
great. So no one's going to do anything. Got it. Nobody wants the ball.
My point, yes, and to John's point, Jalen's going to have to do a lot. All those guys are going to have to do a lot. But any one guy can't look at this year and say, this is going to be about me doing a ton. This is going to be about me taking over, me being Tatum in Jalen's case. Like, that's not how it can go. It has to look like tonight where it's pretty collective. Yeah. And yes, John, it wasn't Jalen's firing the ball around and being the point forward.
No, he's just like, give me the ball and I'm going to shoot some.
But it was a pretty
target practice.
It was a pretty collective team approach. Like, this was 10 guys plus all doing different jobs and fitting in together and, exceeding the sum of their parts here. And that's what they're going to have to do because, as you said a million times, John, the talent isn't there right now. And Jalen even said that at practice last time, that they have leaned on talent around them. They've been spoiled by the amount of talent that they've had here. And now they're going to have to do it with physicality, speed, and a collective approach. That's what I'm talking about here, not shot totals necessarily.
Okay, we're going to get into a little bit more, and we want to get into the rookie a little bit and realistic expectations for everybody's new favorite player, Ugo Gonzalez, who we're going to hear from right after this message from our pals over at Prize Picks. And again, you want to get in on the action right now if you can with Prize Picks. This episode brought to you by Prize Picks. And look, you and I make decisions every day on Prize Picks. Being right can get you paid. Why not turn your sports opinions into cold, hard cash? Don't miss any excitement this season on Prize Picks, regardless of the sport, whatever you want to get in on. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey. It's all happening right now. This is the best time of year. All the sports. And Prize Picks is the place for you. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. 2 to 6 players, any sports. 2 to 6 player stat projections. You get your picks right, you could win up to 2,000 times your cash. Prize Picks has great features, lots of free squares and promotions, injury reboots. If someone gets hurt and leaves the game in the first half, it doesn't count as a loss. Flex play, which you can cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect, and a lot more. So again, download that app today. Use code CLNS to get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Yes, it is.
I like that.
It's good to be right. That's my motto.
It's good to be right. I should try that sometime.
It's good to be right. It's good to be right.
What is it when you're wrong? Bad?
Never.
I'm having a bad year.
That's my motto. Let's talk about our guy. We did like what we saw out of Ugo. He was a spark plug. Jimmy's gonna love this guy. all season long. And again, he's only 19, and typically on a regular Celtics team, this is a guy who would have been shipped back overseas and we wouldn't see or hear from him for a couple of years. But on this team, he's got a spot. And can he have some minutes? I don't know, but here he is after the game talking about his performance.
Ugo, how did it feel out there tonight, first game? NBA.
Felt good. We got the win. That's the most important thing. We were playing good basketball today. We're trying to making the things that we're doing in practice. I think that we'll be practicing a lot. I'm happy because it's the first win, but still preseason. Still need to figure out a lot of things.
Did the level feel noticeably different from summer league?
I mean, of course, it's raised up level, I would say. Also different pace. We want to play with a pace that not much teams want to play like. We want to make them uncomfortable. So probably also, apart from the highest level, we also have improved from
Made some big plays defensively. Do you feel like you're able to show what you can do?
I mean, obviously not every day you can go and try to have three steals. As soon as you can impact the game defensively, making the correct field, the correct things. I think that's the most important thing, apart from having big plays or something like that. Just correct defensively, so you can have the win.
Ugo, you talk about that pace. People usually talk about, pushing the ball on offense. How important is pace to defense and the way you play on that side of the ball?
I mean, it's everything. If you defend, you're able to run. Everybody on this team wants to run. Once you have open shot and transition, going for dunks and everything. I mean, that's what we're looking for, So as soon as we have the defense up there, if we are able to run, we're going to be really, really dangerous.
Did you kind of like the mix-up?
Gary.
Paul kind of pushed you blocked a shot. Or
Yeah.
Shot, and Paul kind of pushed you, and then Boucher came in and kind of, did you kind of like that little mix-up? Like, this shows the physicality and like of the NBA, your first NBA game. You kind of like that?
I mean, we play hard. They play hard too.
Yeah.
Normal, common thing in a contact sport, So I wouldn't think that much, And I know I play hard. Memphis played a hard game too, I would say. So just common incidents on the game that can happen to whoever. I don't give them much attention to that.
It seemed like you were talking to Joe quite a bit on the sidelines. What are the kinds of conversations you guys are having in the game, like when he's pulling you to the side and kind of giving you tips?
Well,
I know he was going to throw a Spanish question.
Correcting things that obviously as a 19-year-old that is playing his first game in the NBA, I got a lot of things to correct, and he was just trying to give me live feedback from things that I need to improve, some reads that I didn't did well, I need to improve them. So basically,
is it hard to process, like get feedback and then do it in real time, or do you feel like you're able to kind of do that in those games?
I mean, you gotta think fast. It's a sport that you need to think fast. So basically, try to apply whatever they're telling you because they're seeing it from a better perspective than you. So just trying to apply what they say is a great way. Good.
There's our boy Ugo,
Hey,
and of course,
good for him. He can speak good English for some, like coming from another country.
Good English. Yeah.
Good for him, man. It's not easy. I can't even speak good English. I'm from here.
Yeah.
What do you think? Seems like
He
he's
was
got
fun,
a good head
man.
on his shoulders. Yeah.
And the one thing, when you're
able to
when you're reading the
take
scouting
instruction.
Yeah, and when you're reading the scouting reports on him, it's like, all right, he didn't play a ton for Real. Doesn't have much of a seasoned offensive game. The three-pointer is even a real question with him. But you knew he was going to defend with intensity, fly around, has the size to guard a bunch of different positions. So in terms of defense, he's in a pretty good position right off the bat, especially I'm sure the practices out there and everything. Like his Real team had Serge Ibaka and Dennis Smith Jr. for a stretch and Campazzo. And like you could probably rattle off like 6, 7, 8 NBA guys on that roster who he's practicing with each day. So it was a legitimate outfit as it usually is out there for him to have been in that system for, let's say, like 3 years, give or take. That's more than a usual 19-year-old would come with in terms of experience and coaching and that sort of stuff. Like it's a whole development program out there. So he's young, he's relatively inexperienced, but I feel better about him coming in than some 19-year-old out of high school here who's just doing whatever. He is pretty far along in his development, I'm sure, specifically on that defensive side of the ball. So as I started to watch tonight, John, depending on how things shake out, who's available, all that, right? I was thinking about him as a guy who's probably up in Maine to start the year, but if he shows like this on both sides, why not have him in the mix in Boston to begin this season, especially as one of your first-round guys, as you've mentioned, Jimmy? See what he's made of.
I think, listen, when you're that young, too, the other thing that matters is how coachable are you, right? And it sounds to me like he seems like a very coachable kid.
He's tough on himself, too. He beats himself up over the mistakes.
Yeah, which is good, good to an extent. Obviously, you don't want to get too down on yourself. But if he can take what Missoula yells at him, and with the coaching staff, Cassell. I mean, Cassell's a great guy to have in your corner. I think he's going to learn a lot, and it's no question. I would rather him be up here or down here in Boston than up in Maine. Because listen, no offense to the Maine program and all that stuff, but does it really matter what the hell goes on up there in Maine? Does it really matter what goes on up there in Maine? Just keep him down here with Boston, get some burn. Maybe he can contribute to some extent. Obviously, early on, that might not be the case, but guys are going to be in and out of the lineups this year, Bobby. Who knows what the record's going to be midway through the year? Get this guy some experience at a young age. And it's been a while since you've had some young, up-and-coming, homegrown talent on this roster that you can sort of blend in with some of the proven stars. And maybe next season, a season or two down the road, he'll be a guy that can be a serious part of this rotation at a young age.
Yeah. And he was guarding.
Keep him out of Maine, for God's sake.
Well, yeah, I mean, usually you'd send a guy to Maine who just doesn't have any path to playing in Boston. On this team, there's not much separation between those bench guys. He and a Minot, who's 22, and Walsh, who's barely played NBA minutes at this point, and certainly Scheierman's pretty, early in his NBA career as well. So there's not a ton of separation there, I don't think.
Yeah. You guys differ. Like, I know you and Noah believe in the development in Maine because they play the same system. To me, it's just a place to showcase people so they can be plucked into the pros by other teams. And that's about that. But I just, you see that.
Hey, that's where Hauser and Cornette went through.
And it's fine. That's the point. It's just like, hey, look at me. I'm doing good here. You think I could help you in the pros, and you're going to find some talent there. But the idea of the development, I'm sorry, yeah, I mean, they might be playing a Celtics system up there, but JD Davison is not going to play that type of role when he's here in Boston.
Did you see Davison the other night?
Yes, I did, Bobby. Everything's going to be great with him. He's going to be amazing. But like I said, we've had a crisis here in developing young talent,
right?
A legit.
Actually getting
crisis.
them to an NBA level, other than
so putting them here and sitting them on the bench, putting them here and sitting them on the bench doesn't do it. So yes, if that's what you're going to do with them, I'd rather them play in Maine. But I love the idea of letting rooks just fit, especially when wins and losses don't matter as much, as we think that they might not this year. Let the kid take his lumps up here.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I agree.
There's no one he's necessarily far behind here. I think that's the key point now. And they're probably going to need more bodies overall. I don't know if they're going to do the hockey line thing. Like, that isn't necessarily what we saw tonight.
No, but the first two subs came in early in the 4.5 minute mark or so. So they
were going pretty rapidly throughout.
And also, it wasn't a regular rotation because Jalen played the whole first quarter. He might be doing that in the regular season, but they went quick. So some of the ancillary guys, the smaller, those guys did sub in a little quicker. So that
go in and go hard, and that's what they've been doing. There was a weird thing during training camp. Jimmy Walsh on media day was like, "We're gonna do 4 or 5 guys cycling in and out, going as hard as they can," and then Joe had to be like, "We're not doing that." But I think it was semantics a little bit. That's what they've been doing in practice. That's what it looked like they were doing here tonight, as John mentioned. So
they're trying to get them in the habit of playing hard for shorter bursts, and they want to listen. They want to maximize possessions because 33% on however many shots, they're going to need to take more shots, right? If they're going to have a lower percentage.
It's some math.
Yeah, don't make me do the math, but 33% of however many shots they take, they need to just take more shots. Get that scoring number up higher, right, John?
They had 95 shots. Grizzlies had 83.
That's how numbers work.
33% of a higher number is going to be a higher number.
They count up.
Yes.
By the way, for anyone who thinks the 3-pointers might be going away, 53 tonight. So
No. I mean, and that's part of it is more possessions, more shots, higher number of threes. Maybe it's not as high a percentage of your total shots, but if the idea is you're going to get the ball moving and try to try to get the ball up quickly, then yeah, they're still going to shoot 45.
Yeah, and I like some of the other stuff here too. 34 free throw attempts. Garza got to the line a ton, and we can talk about him in a second here. 17 offensive rebounds is a great number too. If you can get those shots back after you miss the threes, this is it.
A lot of scrappy rebounds. Yeah.
Right. And listen, they're adjusting certain things here, like the pace and aggressiveness defensively. But I think a lot of the core Missoula stuff's going to stay. The threes, the offensive rebounding, winning the shot battle, that kind of stuff is still going to be pretty core to who he is as a coach there in Central. So
I think it will to an extent too, Bobby, because some of these guys, he wants to say, okay, if that is the style that we see ourselves playing in the future, which one of these guys can stick around in next year's team? That's
the whole question this year.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Who are we bringing on? Who are we bringing to the contending years? Right. They're not just going to go from a half court offense to a fast-paced offense to a 3-point shooting offense to a, pound the paint offense. Like, they're not going to go back and forth every other year. They're trying to figure out which players are going to be able to play the style of basketball that they want to play in the years to come.
Yeah. We're going to continue on, and we're going to hear from Josh Minot from the locker room too, and we might get a chance to hear from Noah as well. But we do want to tell you about another sponsor here at the Garden Report, and that is Raycon, and that's some cool stuff. You can see it here on the unboxing.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, it does look cool, doesn't it? I like it. And again, this program sponsored by Raycon. It's Raycon's anniversary, and what better way to celebrate than with a deal on the Everyday Earbuds Classic. They're now 20% off. Perfect time to get your hands on these reliable, super comfy. And yeah, sometimes cool things happen. Like when we get a sponsor, they send us stuff. And these are awesome, awesome earbuds. I've been a fan of these since the moment I got them. Really, really terrific stuff. Again, Everyday Earbud Classics loaded with upgrades, active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity, so you can pair 2 devices at once. Ergonomic fit, stays on no matter what you're doing. And I move around a lot, so yeah, I need that. New colors are a vibe. I like colors.
New colors are a vibe, he says.
I like colors.
That's
Jimmy.
pretty good.
Bobby, you hear that?
I don't like black and white and gray. I want red and orange and yellow. Give me the fun stuff. Give me fun stuff. That's what I like. So check it all out. Less like earbuds, more like accessories. I love them. Go grab them. Go to buyraycon.com/PCS to get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. Once again, raycon.com/PCS. Get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. Go
New colors
get
are
yourself some today. You know what else I'm vibing? Noah is coming in hot out of the locker room right now.
Oh,
yes, our first
the vibes report. The vibes report.
How's it going, everybody?
And
nice.
Noah, everything they said was going to happen
want.
was true. Take it away.
On a personal level, things have gone awry for me. I need to just start there. I got a bloody nose. Can I start with a personal anecdote, or is that distracting?
Sure.
I got a bloody nose in the middle of Joe Mazzulla's press conference, which was a whole scene.
He's been known to give those.
Yeah.
I lost my coat. I broke something at the facility here. So the win feels so far away right now, but I've regathered and I'm ready to discuss the game. But I want you to know where I was coming from.
Prayers up.
Joe likes the physicality, a little bit of blood.
How's the nose?
Okay.
Is it dry air?
It's all
What's
good
going
now.
on over there?
It's all good now.
Okay.
Just keep an eye out,
Did you injure Jordan Walsh?
No, but Jordan Walsh, it was very clear where he got injured. I actually turned to Jack right in that moment and I said a normal person would be out for 3 months on that play, and it turns out also an NBA player could get hurt on that play.
What happened?
Yeah.
But I'm curious what you guys thought about the game. What's the
no. We've done it all. We're done. We're done.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I can share about my life.
We're ready for your take. Yeah.
I mean, obviously the last quarter there got ugly with different different group out there. But I feel like the new additions were impressive, and you could see the vision of like what we've been hearing about from camp over and over again. Like I think you could see the pace, you could see they were playing with a little more energy than I think we're used to. The ball wasn't sticking. So I liked what we saw. I mean, granted, the competition was not the most impressive, so I'm not going to like go crazy with what we saw, but I thought Luka Garza had some great moments. I thought Josh
I
Minot
want to
had some
talk
great
about
moments.
Garza.
Yeah. I thought Ugo, for a rookie, considering I thought he struggled a little bit in summer league, like he had some great moments in this game. So it was pretty encouraging. I mean, Derek was awesome. Jalen looked like he was healthy and didn't miss a beat. So it was a pretty encouraging performance. Overall.
John, you've been dying to talk about Garza. What was the issue?
No,
You didn't like Garza?
Some guy in the comments said he stunk.
What?
The majority of my commentary has been positive, Noah, mainly because you like to see the spark plug players like Minot and Ugo go in there, just fly around, and just be super active and aggressive, and that was a lot of fun to watch. You definitely saw that increased pace a little bit with the getting shots up more quickly. Certainly in that first quarter there, you could see how quickly in each possession, everyone's been given a green light. First good look, let it fly. So I did like to see that. I liked how Derek White was being more aggressive, looking for his offense as well. I think if you're going to pinpoint the negative off of this is while Garza had some moments, his presence out there is emblematic of just how difficult things are going to be on the glass and trying to defend the paint. And again, you didn't have Keita tonight, but he's going to be a problem in that regard. And so that's a little bit worrisome because that's your depth behind Keita, who's kind of an unproven. So I'm definitely a little bit concerned over that. Not that he didn't have some moments and do some good things, but I think that if you're going to walk away with a concern tonight is, rebounding is going to be a problem.
Yeah, and they actually seemed to shave back his minutes a little bit, I felt like, and go to Boucher at center. And I know, we talked a lot about how he probably looked like he was going to be more of a 4 here, but he did play some center through the middle stretch of this game. So it'll be interesting to see how that stacks up once Cade is back on Friday.
Yeah, I wouldn't read anything into like who played how many minutes in this game because they weren't obviously not running anything close to a regular rotation, but rebounding was definitely a struggle. And I had a really good seat for this one. Memphis still is like one of the only arenas that has all the reporters literally in the front row.
I could see you and Jack hanging out. Yeah.
Oh, you could see us. I was having the time. All I wanted was for the game to never end. But
it's the best when you get those seats.
Yeah. I was getting getting nostalgic halfway through.
You know where we get them? We get them. We would get them every time I covered NCAA basketball when they would play a regional at the Garden. You get those seats, like second row, just floor side seats, and it's just awesome being there. You don't get a chance to be that low, right? I remember I was there for Mello, his championship year.
So nice.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. But anyway.
One thing I noticed, though, is that the thing that Joe seemed to have like the shortest leash on was the rebounding. And a couple times, like there was one play where he was yelling at Luka to rebound like before the shot even went up, and then he missed the rebound. He immediately called the timeout. Like it's clear that I think the team knows this is going to be a weakness. You lost your best defender. You lost a bunch of other good defenders. You're small. That's what I mean by the best defender. Like Tatum, I think got kind of flown under the radar in that regard, but that's going to be a point where they have to, overemphasize. Everybody's going to have to be better. The guards are going to have to be better. And I think some of the front court players like Tillman's on a great rebounder. I don't know that Garza is necessarily. I thought he was fine in this game, but Amari Williams, I think that's probably his biggest weakness. He's in a 2-way, but like it is definitely a team wide issue and is probably going to continue to be, but it's really early. So we'll see how it pans out. But I think like just looking at the roster, that's an obvious area.
And it feels like that's going to be a nightly struggle, and it looked like it for a lot tonight, but they ended up winning the offensive rebounding battle, and overall 65-60, I feel like competitive enough for it. Now, Edie's out, Jackson's out. Like you didn't really have like world beaters there. John, I know you mentioned against like a actual physical interior dominant.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be tough,
look, but I'm gonna remain dubious. Like, what we saw was good because it, like I said,
this
buy-in
team stunk. Memphis, oh my god,
they did. But like I said, I like the buy-in because that's what you need off of all of these new players coming in. You have no idea how it's going to fit. And to see them playing in the style that Joe Mazzulla has preached on night one bodes well, because it's not going to work if they don't, or everybody's doing their own thing or looking for their next contract or their next job. And that can happen if seasons go off the rails. So I'm not ruling that out. But on night one, preseason game number 1, great to see what they said was going to happen kind of happen. So definitely good. But yeah, I am dubious how it's going to play against a good team. It's great, run up and down the floor. You need guys who can shoot it. You need guys who can defend. You need guys who can, who can grab boards and this and that. And against better teams, how effective are some of these guys who we enjoyed watching tonight because of the energy that they brought? How are they going to be in the regular season? It might work, because not everybody wants to go 120 miles an hour. And if you've got guys that do, and you're going to do these quick substitutions and rotate in and throw in a lot of bodies, they could make themselves a little bit annoying to play against. And so I'm curious how it plays out once the real games start a little bit, who's actually in and who's out. Noah, Joe said it before the game. I think you posted the sound. Don't read anything into who's playing. You can't. But if you had to just try to glean off of tonight, okay, who that played right now is in line for actual minutes once the season begins? Who do you think?
First of all, I think a lot more guys than we're used to. Like, I think we're going to see a deeper rotation, especially early on, as different people get opportunities and you kind of see what sticks and who plays well together and all that. So I actually think a lot of the guys that we saw, but maybe one guy who I was not super high on when they signed him is Josh Minot, who I think you guys probably talked a little bit about, but there are things that he does that I think this team is going to need. For example, the rebounding, like he is somebody that can actually be an asset on that end. And as we just discussed, like that's an area of potential weakness. I don't know about his shot. Like his shot is it looks a little clunky. He missed, I think, all of his threes today. And he was like a 32% or something like that last year. But I actually do think he'll be in the rotation. Yeah, I think the Celtics like him. I think they're excited about what he brings to the table. I think he's happy here. He's kind of fitting well. So that's one guy.
He's
honestly,
athletic.
In the 7 minutes that Jordan played, I actually liked a lot of what he did, but his night was just cut short with that adductor strain, I think.
Is that serious, or is it just precaution?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't see him post game, but it didn't. He played through like what looked like the initial moment of the injury. So I'm sure. I don't think it's anything super long term, but yeah, he was, again, we've had this ongoing question of like between Jordan and Baylor and Ugo and Josh and all these guys that have some overlap in their skill set and obviously some differences. Like it's not going to be all of them that are in the rotation. And I think right now Josh actually seems like he has a little bit of an advantage. And he reminded me post game that this is his 4th year in the NBA. We're talking about, Ugo, who's a 19-year-old, like Josh, Luka, like
he's 22.
Yes, new. Yeah, they haven't played a ton. They haven't played a ton of NBA minutes, but they're kind of getting the hang of things. Like he was saying, my first year, like I could not make those reads, and now I know how to make those reads. Like there's a certain level of like these guys are not rookies anymore, right? They're far from that, and so that's going to bode well for them too when it comes down to potential opportunities. I think,
and they're all
they're
all 5 years younger than Baylor Scheierman. So
how old is Baylor Scheierman? 25.
Damn it,
he's 25.
No, he's 26.
He's 25. He just turned 25.
He's 38.
He just turned 25.
He's 40.
Why are we being so dramatic about age?
He's Xavier Tillman's age.
Yeah, he is.
Which is the craziest thing.
And that was the surprise tonight. And again, you don't read too much into it, but we were trying to guess, who will be that surprise star? Because there always is.
But oh my God, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
there always is.
We can't read into the starting lineup because we had 3 guys. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny because obviously the big debate has been Peyton Pritchard or Anthony Simons, who's going to start.
And they both said.
They said both.
And not only when the starting lineup came out, I was like, oh, is he just trolling us? Like he's just not going to start either.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone thinks Peyton is going to start, but they put Tillman in there. So yeah, I think a lot of that's Joe.
Tillman, part of it is Joe did this last year in Memphis too, but like I do think that he likes having Tillman play in Memphis. Memphis means a lot to Tillman. They had the signage. He was chatting it up with everybody. I think like if you can give him the start, like he does that. He did that in the regular season games.
He played there back in the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but he's one of 3 guys.
He showed up without a contract. He showed up with his lunch pail. He was like, "Hey, you guys need a body," and he never left.
when I think of Tillman and I think of Minot, those two specifically, they're gonna score this year. I have no doubt about the offense. Like they're gonna figure out a way between the threes and Jalen and Derek and everything. Like they're gonna put up points. Defense is where they're gonna have to figure this stuff out. And our guy Eisenberg, John, he tweeted out earlier that they were gonna have 38. A bottom 8 defense this year.
Yeah,
like he was super low on what this.
When the Aussies are down, oh my God, that's not great. That's not great.
And I mean, you look at the roster. I don't know how you felt about the defense tonight, Noah, but they're gonna constantly be looking.
There were some lapses
on that end, and yeah,
there were some shocking lapses actually.
Tillman's a potential solution, right? Because he's a bona fide defender, and Minot, I think, is actually a potential key there because he's the only guy outside of maybe Keita who has some pedigree here too. But they need somebody to protect the rim. And between his length and athleticism and ability to just hover over, he's talked about he's doing this in practice too. I actually think Minot can give them a little bit of rim protection because they have none right now in a game like this. Scal even said it at one point. It was so funny in the second quarter. He was like, they have no rim protection. They have no rebounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of it, Scal asked Joe about it pregame, but a part of it is that, if you don't have the size, you don't have the rim protection, you do have other things. And we've seen the small ball lineup work at times. Like, I think they're going to have to lean, not to literally sound like Joe right now, but like, I think they're going to have to lean into different identities too, because you're not going to find an elite rim protector on this roster, I don't think. Like, even if Keita can give you some of that, like, that's never going to be a strength of this team compared to other rosters and compared to previous iterations of this team. So what can you do differently? What can you lean into? And I think that there are unique things about this roster that they can have an advantage on the floor. We didn't really see those things today because I think it kind of lands on Pritchard and Anthony Simons quite a bit. Who, by the way, Anthony Simons at shoot around today was just doing defensive drills and he was locking people up. Not to overdo it, but I'm curious to see that.
He was trying, you mean?
No, I mean he's locking people up.
In his own words, though, he's just.
It's like
I actually didn't post some of the clips because I didn't want to put on blast the players that he was locking up more than I already did. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the Aroldis Chapman thing, guys. He never thought to locate a pitch. Simons never thought to play defense. He's like, I guess I could.
Nobody ever mentioned it to me.
But like when they first signed him, that's the first thing I said. I'm like, I don't care if he didn't play like he's clearly athletic. Like it's a choice. Defense is a choice. If you can move your feet and you're an athlete, which he is, he should be able to play defense. It really is a commitment. So I would buy into him being able to. It's just whether or not he's going to commit to it and do it consistently on every possession, night in, night out, or he's just going to take some days off or possessions off. So who knows? But can he do it? Yeah, he absolutely can do it.
I think they're going to drill it into him, though. I mean, I think Joe's the type of coach, too, John, that he won't be scared to yank him. I think
that's what I said. I don't think he'll have any worries, even with the depth you're talking about, John.
I think some of this, like Noah said it at the top, we're going to see a deep rotation this year.
You're going to need him. You can't. I don't think he's yankable, Jimmy.
I think they'll yank him if he doesn't defend.
John, he has no clout here. If he just straight up doesn't defend,
we do this a lot.
They will.
I know, but
I think it's going to become a little overhyped, the defense thing too.
Yeah, it's like
I think he'll be fine.
He's not the first person to not defend on a bad team and score a bunch of baskets.
Exactly,
and then you go to the environment and you find yourself. I think he's
the hardest thing to do is score, and he can score. And very few people, not very few, but there's not enough people on this roster who can. His role is set here. If he doesn't play defense, that's gonna suck because they're gonna give up. They're gonna give up as much as they get when he's on the floor. But there's plenty of players like that in the NBA. He's too valuable to take off the court because of his offensive skill set. So no way Joe benches him so he can play more friggin', Walsh minutes or Ugo minutes.
For the game, but I don't think Joe's just going to sit there and let this guy just, Olay out there on the court. I just don't think so.
They'll yell at him some.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll be harsh on him. We'll be critical. I think he's not scared to embarrass him a little bit. If that means yanking him out, I'm not saying for the rest of the game, but he's not Jason Tatum. He's not Jaylen Brown. Like, there's no clout here. So he doesn't have that respect.
Then he'll tell him he loves him.
Exactly. Don't tell him he loves him. We'll say, we'll see you next week. We'll see you next game.
Yeah.
But I think going back to Noah's original point, the guys at the end of that rotation who are going to crack it are going to be the ones who are playing harder on defense. I think because they're not going to be expected to be big scorers. They're not going to be looked at to run the offense, but they're going to be looked at to play hard. And if that means playing defense, that means playing defense. So you're talking about those guys in the 9th, 10th, 8, 9, 10 rotation. It's going to be the guys who are playing good two-way basketball. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
So, no, let me ask you about this. And again, we got to go beyond the box score a little bit on it because it's not fair. But, definitely in the negative column tonight, at least offensively, Baylor Scheierman starts out great where with a couple of threes early, that super deep one. And then I love the corner catch and shoot three where he didn't have to go into that big dip. He just caught it and released it. And you want to be able to see him do that. And then he just went ice friggin' cold the rest of the game, which is a bummer because, again, he's not going to be he's an effort guy. You saw him hit the ground, once or twice as well. And he's not afraid to throw himself around there, but he just doesn't have the feet to be able to play, consistent defense at a high level. I think he can at best be competitive and be able to hang in there. He's got to knock down shots, and you want to see him get there. Like, again, it's only one game, but your overall thoughts on just how he looked here, because this is one of those guys who you're really hoping takes a leap in year two, because it's a guy who has some skills that you'd like to see them translate at this level on this team, because they need more of what he could potentially bring. But I hate seeing lines like this, even if it is in the preseason, because you just want that three to be a little bit more automatic for him.
Yeah, and honestly, what the shots that stood out to me the most were the twos, because I've seen this was the same thing at Summer League. Like, he kind of forces, I don't even want to say forces, but he steps into a more difficult shot than maybe he had earlier on. Like, there were a couple times today where he ended up doing like a going off his left foot floater, like going to the right, like just like difficult looks, and he's not making them. And then you go back and you're like, okay, how did he finish 3 for 13? And it's not like he missed 9 excellent shots. Like, he takes a few bad ones, and so it hurts. Like, it's kind of like when you think about Tatum's efficiency, like that was always a knock on him, but then he's Jason Tatum. Like, I feel like he has a couple shots per night, and this was the same thing at Summer League, where they're just probably not the best look that he could get, and sometimes after he passed up a better shot. So I don't know if it's a shot selection issue. I do think his shot is a little bit unproven compared to some of the other guys in the roster, like the Sam Hausers of the world, like guys that have been elite 3-point shooters. So it's definitely the biggest question for him. Like, he's going to have to be an offensive threat to be in this rotation. Like, he does other things well to the best of his abilities. He plays really hard. He's a good passer. He's a smart player, but I don't think he does them well enough. And he doesn't have the athleticism to separate him from these other more athletic guys if he can't score the ball at a high clip. So that's like the big question with him, right? I think we thought about that at stretches last year. Like, there was a month where he was on offensively last year, and then he looks like a really good player. But outside of that, like most of last season, Summer League, and this opener game, like, it has been a little bit of a challenge. So I don't know. I'm a little bit like, we'll see how the rest of preseason goes, but it does feel like it's not as fluky. Like today, I thought to myself a couple of times, like, okay, that's a tough look. Like, they have to be able to get something better here, especially with the guys that are playing around him. I don't think he's like a ball hog or anything like that. I think he's trying to make the right play, but maybe overthinking it a little bit too.
This reminded me a lot of the Summer League stuff we saw from him.
Yeah.
And especially he plays late into the fourth quarter in this game. When he's in that position and he's running point and he's in that role, I do feel like he presses way too much and tries to play that run everything, everything's going through me kind of role here, where his best chance of succeeding on this team is fitting in and playing off other guys. I thought he did that early. He got a good look from Hauser on the move in the corner. Some of his early shot selection, as Noah pointed out, was much better than stuff we saw late here from him. Defensively, it's a lot of gambling. He got a few nice steals doing that, but I'm not sure how that's going to play out in real action here. And then, the 4 turnovers you see, one of them was just ridiculous. He tried going around his back and flipping it to nobody, and some Grizzlies player just grabbed it. So this wasn't super encouraging to me, what we saw from him tonight. especially when you did see some real solid defensive stretches from Walsh and Ugo and some other guys who might not, who he's maybe competing with there. But I also view him a little bit more as a ball handler in the backcourt, maybe that fourth point guard, if you want to call him that, in their rotation behind Simons, Pritchard, and White. So that might free him up for some more minutes, but I'm still trying to figure out what he is here. Like, is he a guy who has the ball in his hands a lot, creates his own shot, or is he a guy like Hauser who's, catching and shooting? He's caught in between the two, it feels like, and then the defense is a work in progress. So, I mean, he's moving in the right direction, it feels like, but I don't know. The Summer League to me was a little bit of a step back from what we saw from him late last season, and this was a continuation of that, I felt like. But it's just one game. We'll see what he looks like on Friday.
We've covered, I think, most of it, but Noah, anything, again, you jumped in and we'd already talked about a bunch of stuff. Is there anything that you that stood out that you haven't had a chance to talk about yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this is maybe not the most surprising topic, but Derek White, maybe it's just me, but I feel like he's been flying a little under the radar when it comes to this team, because there's the storyline of is Peyton Pritchard going to make another leap? Is Jaylen Brown?
I said that earlier. Yeah. Scally even said it too.
Yeah, it just kind of hit me. At one point in this game, he just looked way too good to be on the court. And perhaps for certain moments, he just had complete command of the game on both ends, it felt like, and suddenly he had 10 assists. And I was like, I didn't realize he even played long enough to rack up that many assists. And I think he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more this year, because Tatum's not going to have the ball, and Tatum's not going to be there. And a lot of people's initial instinct is, okay, Jalen's going to have the ball more, but I don't think that Jalen's at his best when he has the ball in his hands for most of the game.
Oh, Tatum was there.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Are we doing it?
No, we're not. I promise.
Okay.
No.
We can. Now that you're here, we can.
I'm not doing it.
Okay.
No.
So I just think Derek White is going to be. Derek White has the potential to really be the engine for this team.
Who's going to be the all-star, him or Pritchard?
Why not both? No, just kidding. But maybe it's just me, but I feel like I've underrated a little bit the leap that he can make with having the ball in his hands a little bit more.
No, I said the same exact thing.
So he really impressed me in this game.
But I said it better.
As the Jalen, who, again, we haven't seen him play healthy in a while, and I did think that right off the top, you could see that he had a little bit more explosion than he had when we last saw him last spring. So it was good to see him play the full first half. And
lean into those two guys' strengths. Brown's a scorer, White's a facilitator, and he had 9 assists before you could blink. So I think both of those guys would benefit from sharing the wealth at the top of this team here. And then it'll be interesting to see how Pritchard fits into that too. Why did Pritchard not play tonight? Simons, maybe I get, he's easing into things. Kada played Eurobasket. I don't get why Pritchard didn't play.
I think they're just not going to play guys for 4 games. And so I think this
okay.
Honestly, those guys didn't play. So those guys didn't play. So one would start and one would come off the bench, and then Joe would be like, "Oh, is that how it's going to be?" So he's, he'll start. He's going to start.
He is on one about that topic. Oh my God, he was ready to go day one. It's not Pritchard versus White, Simons.
Yeah, that's how I see it. All right, well, we're back at it on Friday in Toronto. Bobby the Lunatic is going to go up there. Noah's going to be there as well. I can't promise that
I
show
love
is
Toronto, John.
You do. I like Toronto too. You know who else is gonna be in Toronto but not working? Amit. But I want you guys to check in on him because I'm worried about him all the time. But Amit's gonna be up there too.
Amit in Toronto.
That's why we're really there. Keeping
his old stomping grounds.
Yeah. He's behind the scenes right now. Thanks to Amit for helping produce this show. And yeah, we're back. We're all the way back. Garden Report. It begins now.
It's gonna be a sludge, dude.
I thought everybody was gonna be encouraged by this game.
We were.
No bad things from the game. I just think
see it on your face, John. I can see it on your face.
I'm not ready to crown them.
These two are scared about how it's gonna go.
No, I have to counterbalance you a little bit. So when you come on, I have to get a little bit.
Okay. That's fair.
But fair.
It's funny, even how bright my light is, and then you're kind of more in the dark, We
definitely gonna need some positivity from that side of the. I don't know if
wrong way.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I was
Looks
positive.
different for me.
Except
No, I just
Bobby
think
said
generally
something.
speaking, for the entire season, we need them to bring the positivity for sure. So I do appreciate that, Noah. Do appreciate that.
I can get behind
Perspective.
this. I can get behind scrappy underdogs. Absolutely.
I can get behind scrappy underdogs too. That being said, give me the third seed, the third pick.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the third pick. Yeah. Look at this. How do you think
Not third seed. I want to make it clear.
Yeah.
I would take the third seed if I thought it was possible, Bobby, to be clear on that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But we're back at it Friday. This might be a funky one. That show might be slightly delayed just due to personnel issues with those guys up in Toronto. But you can follow us on our socials. We'll update you. We are certainly going to be doing a show for that one. And then we're back on Sunday as well. We're going to be doing all the way through. There's no rest. There's no stop. West Coast doesn't matter. We will be doing Garden Reports after every single game. So we're happy to have so many familiar faces back in the chat here hanging out with us. I think this was a lot of fun. So thanks. Quick shout out again to our sponsors, Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app of America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Use code CLNS, get 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And our pals over at Raycon. You want some cool earbuds? Yeah, the colors are a vibe.
Vibey.
Go to buyraycon.com/PCS. Get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic.
By the way, John, finish.
No, go ahead.
By the way,
I was just going to roll right through the goodbye.
I didn't get a pair. I didn't want to blow up your ad. I didn't want to blow up your ad read earlier, but you were like, "Oh, it's great when they send us stuff." Nobody sent me
awesome.
shit.
Yeah, I got 3 pairs. And my daughter and wife both love them, which is
us
great.
didn't include you, Jimmy.
He got 3 pairs. The rest of the panel somehow got none. Wonder where those should have went.
Boston Celtics defeat the Memphis Grizzlies, if you can even call them that, 121-103 in the preseason opener. Lots of positive things to talk about. You can read about it more with Noa Dalzell over at SB Nation, Celtics blog, writing about it. Bobby Manning at CLNS Media. And, of course, check out all the Celtics-related podcasts here on the CLNS Media Network. Like us, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Please. We're going to be here all season long. And if you like WNBA action, make sure you subscribe to the WNBA Today on CLNS Media on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, where we wanted to get to 1,000 subs, but now that we got there, that's nothing. I want 2,000, 3,000. I want 10,000. I want
100,000.
I want 10,000 by the end of the year. That's where we want to get to. Noah dominating that channel, so make sure you check that out. Subscribe.
A lot of drama in the WNBA, Noah. We got to get that drama.
Isn't it fun?
Not in the finals, though.
I'm thinking we talked about having
that's why Noah does this.
We talked about having a drama segment on the Garden Report.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking we incorporate the WNBA into that because that'll give us some really juicy, hot goss, if you know what I'm saying.
Just like a random WNBA segment in the Garden Report.
Once in a while, we mix it into the drama segment because there's always something going on.
There's some drama tonight, Jalen.
There's like a revolt going on.
Vince Williams, yeah.
It's juicy stuff.
I love having a front row seat to that stuff. Yeah,
that was fun.
So we're good. Listen, guys, we're gonna need to get creative.
Don, you were ending the show so well. It was seamless. You got the ad.
We're gonna have to get creative this season. We really are. Yeah. So I think
Jimmy mid-season form hijacking my ads and my goodbyes. I was just about to say goodbye. So we'll do it again. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you on behalf of everyone on the Garden Report.
Belichick's going to have a podcast on our segment soon, too.
We will see you guys on Friday after I can find the outro.
Belichick's going to be on CLNS soon, guys.
No one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me, I'll tell you that.
Okay, you know what, Don? We're going to do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have to feel that way. Let's fight out over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke an hour early. We're not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke